Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor. I believe that each soul is jam-packed with every single thing that it needs to be successful. I believe that no matter where you find yourself, that you can overcome. I believe that you have what it takes deep inside of you to be a winner. See, it's not over until you say it's over. Get ready for this adventure towards success. Dream big.
Tomorrow's gonna bring a change. The message remains the same. Everything.
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor. Tonight's show will be solely focused on tools for success. Everywhere I go, everywhere I speak, every time I give a workshop, people want to know exactly what can they do to be successful. What can they do to get from where they are to where they want to go? And the answer is always the same. You see, you are the miracle that you've been praying for. You have absolutely everything it takes in order to live your dreams. So, some of this is going to be review for some of those who watched me before and who've heard me before. Some of it may seem brand new, but at any rate, everyone needs to get a pencil and a piece of paper. And just in case you forgot what it looks like, paper looks like this, okay? And I want you to write this down because studies have shown that what you write down, you are more likely to achieve. So, we'll give you a few seconds to get your paper and your pencil, and then we'll start. I want to remind you that this is a call-in show, and the number is area code 312-738-1845. 312-738-1845. So if you have questions at any time during the show, give us a call, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Also, I want to take a few minutes while you're getting your piece of paper to thank everyone who's gone out to the website, who's actually shown up to see me and participated in my workshops and my empowerment series, and those of you who've actually bought my books. I really appreciate your support. Now, let's get started. You should have your paper. Tools for success. Now, you all know that I believe that there are just a few key things that will help you be successful. They will help transform the experience that you are having right now to the experiences that you want to have. And as my favorite saying is everything we're going to talk about will be high yield, meaning you will get great results with no cost, meaning it won't cost you anything monetarily. It will, however, to cause you to make a decision between what you want to do with your time. Now, some of us spend a lot of our time doing everything other than what we need to be doing. So we're going to talk a lot about time. Now, the first thing that I need you to write down on your paper is forgiveness. Forgiveness is such a hard thing, and people just shy away from forgiveness. One of the reasons we shy away from forgiveness because we believe that if we forgive someone, that we are letting them off the hook. Well, that's not true. See, forgiveness is a gift that you give to yourself. Forgiveness is that thing that you do so that the next time you think about the situation or the circumstance, that you don't relive it over and over again. I'm not saying that you forget, and that you may never become really good friends either, but you need to forgive. Think about it like this. If you had a rug on the floor in your house and you never lifted it to sweep from under it, it would just be filled and filled with dust and all kinds of mucky stuff. Forgiveness is the tool that you're going to use in order to get rid of some of that muckiness that's in your life. Now, the next question is, well, I forgive everybody. I don't have anybody I need to forgive. So right now, while we're talking about forgiveness, if anybody's name comes to mind, or if there's a circumstance that comes up, then that's what you need to forgive. And forgiveness prayers are incredibly simple. Simple as, I forgive you for, and state the infraction. I forgive you for that comment you made. I forgive you for telling me that I didn't know what I was doing. I forgive you for the mean things you say about me. Those kinds of things. Just keep it easy and keep it simple. Now, I want you to breathe. You forgive because if you don't forgive, you're actually stuck there in that place, reliving that experience, rehashing that relationship with that person. And as long as you hold on to that, that is where you will be stuck. So remember, it's a gift you give yourselves. There's been some scientific study also to prove that unforgiveness, deep-seated resentments actually go on, lodge themselves into your body, and causes diseases. Now, who wants to be sick because of something somebody did to you 10 years ago? So you got that. Number one is forgiveness. The next thing is gratitude. I think we focus on things that are not that good for us. We focus on what we don't have. We focus on what we would like to have and can't get. And we focus on what somebody else has. But I want you to focus on all of the great things that have happened to you. And it doesn't have to be things that are happening right now, today, but just over the period of your life. And I want you to write those down. The goal is for every day you to recall 5 things that you're grateful for. And then I want you to put that gratitude on steroids. I want you to reach out and act on that gratitude. So if someone made your day, I want you to say thank you to them. I want you to acknowledge every single act, and I want you to keep up with it. In the course of a year, you will be amazed at all of the wonderful things that happened in your life just because you were grateful. See, grateful takes you from that place of what's not possible to that place as to what is possible. It opens up your mind. It opens up your heart so that you can begin to receive the good things that are waiting for you, the good things that are just simply stuck and dammed up because you don't acknowledge them or because you're stuck in unforgiveness. So you got gratitude. Next thing is visualization. People visualize, for the most part, all of the things they don't want. We spend time thinking about what it would be like if we lost our job, what it would be like if we were sick, what it would be like if that happened to us. We spend our time doing that. But instead, I want you to use your visualization, your imagination. I want you to use it to think about and make your own movies about all the wonderful things that you would love to happen in your life. So I want you to think about, if it's a new job, that new job. If it's a new car, that new car. If it's new clothes, if it's weight loss, usually it's weight loss. Think about what you're going to do when you lose the weight, how good you're going to feel, how you're going to look in that new car. I want you to spend 80% of your time thinking about what it is you would like to experience, as opposed to 80% of your time thinking about what you don't want to experience. Now, the next thing is I want you to watch your mouth. Our conversations are filled with fantasies, filled with pain, filled with coulda, shoulda, woulda, didn't do. And I want you to watch your conversations. See, I believe that you can never outlive the level of your conversations, that you will never achieve the things that you are not talking about, that you will only achieve what you're talking about. And if you listen to your conversations, then you will begin to see exactly the story that you are living. So, are you living a story of, oh, I don't feel good? Oh, he done me wrong, she done me wrong, they done me wrong? Are you living a story of, I just don't have enough money, or everybody's out to get me? Or are you living a story of, God is good, all is well, things are just going my way? What are you talking about? What are your constant complaints? And I want you to turn those complaints into gratitude. The next thing is, I want you to sit here right now and just sort of pay attention to your body. Things should be feeling pretty good right now. But see, your body carries with it sort of a thermometer. When you're about to do something, or you're in a situation or even talking to someone or engaging in conversation that you should not engage in or you should not spend your time doing, your body will let you know. You'll feel a little bit of a discomfort someplace, and it will tell you this isn't the right thing for you. However, we tend to discount that. We tend to get in situations and the body says, oh no, don't do this. This doesn't feel good to me. And we tend to dismiss it and do it anyway. And then that's when we find ourselves just filled with turmoil and chaos and drama. So remember, forgiveness, gratitude, visualization, imagination, conversations, and your body. Now, remember the number on the bottom of the screen, 312-738-1848. And we've got a call. Hi, JT. How are you?
How are you, Miss Coleman?
Hi, wonderful.
I've been watching your show for some time now, and I'm a huge fan. And I know that you're pretty successful. And just a second ago, you mentioned visualization. Now, I'm young. I have a fairly nice income, and I have some business ideas, but it's like I get fearful sometimes. I can be ready to do whatever I would like to do, but then it's like when it's time to sign a check, I just get very fearful. And you being an entrepreneur, what were some of the first things you did when it actually came down to putting things or plans to action?
You know, fear is not to be taken lightly, and fear comes to tell you two things. One is sometimes it helps you to see when you are actually in a dangerous situation or a situation that could be dangerous and you need to flee from that situation. And the other types of fear that we get are the fears of what I call success. We're never fearful of failure. I believe that we're more fearful of being successful. So when it comes time to write that check or to do that next step, and I have found myself there hundreds of times, you either don't do it or something else comes up or you allow something to get in the way, and at the end of the day you just don't move forward. So this is what I do. I think about all of the things that could happen to me that I just am afraid of. Okay, think about those things. And now think about signing the check or signing the plan and ask yourself, are your greatest fears going to be realized if you sign the check or do the plan? And 99.99% of the time the answer is no. They're not going to be. That you fear the most will not happen. So now that you've done that, the next thing you do is start asking yourself, since the worst is not going to happen, what is the best that could happen? If this thing is wildly successful, how will that affect my life? How will I be able to help others? And generally, I find that that's enough to move me toward the next step. The other thing is take small steps also. So if this seems like a big step for you, divide it up and see if you can do it in smaller increments. I know, for instance, if you're writing a book, I used to think you just like sat down and write the book, and every time I thought about writing a book and just sitting down to write the book, I'd get stuck. So I just started writing small chapters at a time, and before you know it, you have your book. Hi, Sean. How are you? We've got another caller. Hi.
Hey, good evening. Yes, you have a great show. I love this show. I've been watching it for a minute now, and I think it's awesome. My question is, kind of piggybacks off of what JT was just saying. Let's say, your body's telling you go, the impulse is there, your visualization, you see it happening, your conversation, you're speaking, you're excited about what you want to do, but you still got a little apprehensiveness because, you don't want to jump off the bridge, and so you got this impulse and you really want to do it, but how do you know if it's really the right thing that the universe is asking you or telling you to do, pointing you in the right direction?
There will be a lot of signs, and one of the signs will be exactly how you feel. So think about what it is you want to do. and see what your body tells you. And if your body is telling you that this is the right thing, say, okay, and remember that. Then ask yourself, okay, I'm not going to do this, and we're not going to move forward, and then see how your body feels then. And your body will generally, if it's not the right, if going forward is what you're supposed to do, and you're asking yourself how it feels if you do not move forward, then your body will experience some discomfort. You will feel something that just doesn't feel good, so you know that that's not the right solution for you. Now, the next thing that you have to do is, to both callers, understand that in this life, you will always have some fear. Fear is just a natural part of the process. So I want you to feel the fear. Remember to breathe, because generally if you're going through that, you've stopped breathing. Remember to breathe and take the next step. Do the next thing and take fear with you. So hold the hand of fear and say, we're jumping anyway. If you don't do it now, you have to ask yourself, when will you do it? If this is not the right time, when will be the right time? And you don't want to spend another year, 2 or 10 years not living your dreams, because your dreams are the reason you're here. I believe that when we live our dreams, that we're able to resolve all of the issues that occur in society. And if we have problems in our society, it's because there are people who are not doing what they were sent here to do. So the question doesn't become if you're going to do it. It's just, when are you going to do it? And if you don't do it now, when will you do it? Now, I have some few little techniques that I'll do. Is I set a date as to when I'm going to do something, and it's a future date. And I'll talk about, I shared this with my son, but I was going to start this exercise program because I needed to exercise. And it was a pretty intense exercise program. And I sort of kind of toyed around with this for about a year, not really doing anything, not losing weight either, as a matter of fact, gaining weight. And finally I set a date, and the date was like 6 months in advance. So for 6 months, I would read about the program, read about the exercises, look at them, watch other people doing them. But I had a date I was going to start. And on the day that I was supposed to start the exercise, I had to be out of town doing a seminar. So I took all of the knowledge that I had, all of the CDs that I had, DVDs that I had with me, and started my program on that day. So it does help to just pick a date that you're going to do it. Now, fear shows up in a lot of ways, not just when you're in a potentially dangerous situation, and not just when you're about to do something big, but it generally will show up every step of the way of living your dreams. So I recommend that people set goals. There was a study done in Harvard that showed that 97% of the people who set goals actually achieve their goals. So most people, but the people who did not set any goals, only 3% of the population that didn't set goals were successful. So there is some power in setting goals, writing them down. So if you set goals, set small incremental goals. And every single day, do something toward achieving your dream. Now, some people fall in the trap of, I can't do anything today, I'll catch up tomorrow. Well, oh my God, the week's gone, I'll just do 7 things today. It is not nearly as effective if you do 7 things in one day trying to catch up for the week as it is if you do one single thing every day. And as fast as our society is moving, you probably need to escalate that and do a couple things. Now, those things could be answering a letter, sending an email, starting a marketing plan. And if you're one of the people who are just stretched for time, because we're all stretched for time. As a matter of fact, I was living that story recently where I never had enough time. If you're one of those people, then I say block off a period of time, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and then concentrate on one goal, one task, one thing, and do it for that length of time that you've blocked aside. You will amaze yourself at how much you get done in that time just by applying laser-like focus. As a matter of fact, once you start to do that, you will find that you can write a whole program in half an hour, maybe an hour, that you can accomplish everything that you needed to do for that moment in 15 minutes. So manage your time, set small goals, and commit to time periods and a task to be performed during those time periods. We've got James on the phone. Hi, James. How are you doing?
Let me see, y'all. Okay, Roger Manuel is mad at George, Minister Cotton of George, because he closed some of his private school. They did to the private school and the black community. Y'all doing a good job.
Thank you very much. Now, after you have written your goals down, you do have to come back and I call it a checkup. You have to come back, look at what you've accomplished, because the thing about the goals is the plan is not supposed to be static. The plan is supposed to be fluid. And what will happen is as you accomplish various things on your list, you will get new information, you'll learn new things. Some of the things that are on your list will no longer be necessary, or you may add 2 or 3 more things on your list, or you may just discover that that thing is not quite as exciting as you thought, and now you are being drawn to something else. So you need to sit down once a week, go over your goals, go over what you've accomplished, go over what you did extremely well, and then list what you did that maybe you weren't quite so successful with. And on the thing that you weren't quite so successful with, get real honest. What happened? Why weren't you successful there? And don't reach out past what comes up immediately, because generally the first few answers you get will be the answers that you need. There'll be enough for you to decide if you need to move forward in that direction or if you need to change directions. Then, as you set the goals, you want to say what I'm going to do in a week, what I'm going to accomplish in 30 days, what I'm going to accomplish in 6 months, what I'm going to accomplish in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and even 10 years. And you want to put these someplace and keep them someplace where you can see them so that you can constantly think about what your goals are. And that will allow you to manage your time better so that you're not sidetracked and just going off doing any and everything. Every morning when you get up, make a list of the things that you need to accomplish that day and that week. And at the end of the day, go through and check off what you accomplished. Hi, Brian. How are you?
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, I was just trying to ask a question as far as relationship and everything, because, I was trying to be real, and it's like every time you look around, it's like everybody want to do you wrong, but you always trying to do what's right.
Okay, relationships. Generally, we have to remember that in a relationship, that other person is our mirror. That other person is showing us what that is inside of us that needs to be healed, corrected, changed, or however you want to see that. That's that person's job. So the relationship is to help you grow, to help you fix what's broken. So you need to look at, is the question, they've done me wrong, or is the question, there's some behaviors in me that I need to correct? After you look at that and correct those behaviors within yourself, what you will discover is the relationships that are no longer for your good, that are no longer benefiting you, will fall away, and they will be replaced with new relationships. All too often, we believe that everything that happens to us is somebody else's fault. But everything that happens to us, every moment, every event is our moment of truth. So I want you to look at that. Also, if you're still in the relationship, ask yourself, what are you getting out of that relationship? Because we don't stay places that we're not getting some kind of enjoyment from. So you need to ask yourself that. Then you need to talk about to yourself, what's your exit strategy? And once you have that exit strategy, you're able to leave the relationship. But I caution you, once you end a relationship that wasn't working, to be sure that you take care of all the things that are going on inside of you before you enter another relationship. We're going to take a break right now, And while we do, I want you to take down the number 312-738-1845. Get your pencil and your paper, and we will be right back.
Sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way. Tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything's gonna be alright.
What's wrong with this picture? Half of young Americans can't locate economic powers like Japan and India. 20% can't even find the Pacific Ocean. Without geography, our children aren't ready for the world. Geography is everywhere. It's incredible creatures, rhythm, fashion, flavor. It's economics and politics. It's change. Understanding connections between people and places is critical in the 21st century. That's why we created mywonderfulworld.org. Go there now for your free parent and teacher action kits and give our kids the power of global knowledge. Because kids who understand our world today can succeed in it tomorrow.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. My baby's so worried. My grandbaby's so tiny. No one knows why she was born premature. Or if she'll be okay. All we can do is wait for the answers.
Bet the mail's here.
I got it last time.
I'm busy.
Busy?
For some people, living with painful hips or knees can turn little jobs into big jobs. But it doesn't have to be that way. Today, physicians and patients are partnering together, choosing from a new generation of treatments and therapies that can not only reduce hip and knee pain, but restore a little spring. Life's too short to be stuck in the slow lane. To get up to speed on just how far hip and knee treatments have come, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Don't forget tomorrow's trash day.
I'm waiting because I don't want to get a disease.
I have a future ahead of me, and I don't want to mess up my life.
If my husband asks me if he's a first, I want to say yes.
Because I respect myself. I have so much going for me. A child would only slow me down.
I'm trying to break a cycle.
Sex is a very special thing I only want to share with one person.
There are too many consequences.
The union between two people.
I would always regret it.
I'm protecting my life.
Waiting doesn't make you less of a man.
I'm waiting because it's the most precious gift I can give.
There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way. Tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song.
Welcome back to A Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor, and I am your host for tonight's show. And we're discussing tools for success. So far, we've covered some basic tools for success. We've talked a little bit about fear, and we've talked some about relationships. We've talked about how we use our time. Now I want to talk a little bit about how do you discover, as people ask me, how do I know what I need to change, what behaviors I need to change in myself in order to be successful? There is an analogy that I do in my workshops called the friend comparison. So if you've got your paper, you're ready for this. So one column, you write the name of one of your friends who's not successful. In the middle column, you write your name. And then in the third column, you write the name of a friend who is very successful. And then I want you to do a comparison between the three. I want you to write down the language. What language does your unsuccessful friend use? And then what about the language of your successful friend? What television shows does your successful friend watch? And what television shows does your unsuccessful friend watch? What are their friends like? What do they do for fun? How do they spend their free time? What do they read? What music do they listen to? And then I want you to answer those same questions for yourself. See where you fall in the spectrum between your successful friend and your unsuccessful friend. And then identify for yourself which behaviors you need to change. A lot of people believe, oh, I've been doing this all my life and I just can't change. But see, the only thing in life that is constant is change. You're changing every day, whether you are cooperative or not, whether you believe it or not. It's always change. And what got you to this point will not get you to the next point. So some behaviors you're going to have to release, let go. And then you're going to have to learn some new behaviors. And that's a fun way to do it. So perhaps you need to spend your time watching less television or watching television programs that benefit your ideas. Maybe you need to spend your time around groups of people who are doing what you do so that you can see how it's being done. And if you're still struggling with a little fear, those kind of groups of people, surrounding yourself by those kinds of groups of people, will be just what you need in order to stay inspired and to stay motivated. Another thing is, when changing your habits, understand that makes people around you a little nervous. So some of the people are not going to like the fact that you're changing, because that means they have to change too. And those who don't want to change will leave. So you're probably going to lose some friends. But the saying that when one door closes, another one opens applies to every area of our life. Now, back to intimate relationships. Relationships, money are two things that are incredibly intimate and incredibly important to us. And as one caller stated earlier, that it seems like he constantly does the right thing and then someone is doing them wrong. You have to question your motives. Why do we do what we do? A lot of times in relationships, we will do things so that the other person can like us better, love us better, so they'll stay with us and never leave us. And those actions, when done for those purposes, are not genuine. The actions in relationships should be simply because you love the person. You see, love is something that you experience. It absolutely just is a testament to how you feel about yourself when you are around that person. So you do things because you feel wonderful, not because you want them to do something or you don't want them to do something, but because that's the right thing for you to do in order to honor that relationship. Now, there, of course, the question comes up that says, oh, I've tried positive thinking, I've tried affirmations, I listen to all of the positive programs, read all of the books, and nothing's changing. If that's the case, I take you back to two principles that we've talked about earlier and one that we haven't talked about yet. And one of those principles is forgiveness. If you are stuck and nothing is moving, you have some forgiveness to do. You have to forgive somebody for doing something to you, and you're still holding on to it. Release that so that all of your good can come through. And the other thing is gratitude. Always stay in gratitude. As a matter of fact, if you are focused on gratitude, you'll find that there's not much need for forgiveness, because if you believe that everything that happens to you happens for your good, because everything came to teach you a lesson, give you new information, to give you a blessing, then you will be in gratitude. And the other thing is, somewhere in your life, there is a tithing principle or giving and receiving principle that you're not activating. I believe that you are to give 10% of what you earn to where you are spiritually fed. And then everything else just sort of takes care of itself. See, the universe is going to get us 10% one way or the other. You will pay now or you will pay later. I say let's pay now. We've got another caller. Hi, John. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I love the show.
Thank you.
I had a question about, actually a business question. How important or how big or how do you plan or structure your marketing strategy to get your product over, to get yourself out there and brand it?
In business, there are several strategies that you have, and they tend to work hand in hand. You have got to have a marketing strategy. You've got to have a financial strategy also. You've got to have a product distribution strategy too. And all of these are important because a business is not one-dimensional. True enough, you've got to market. That's important. But you've got to know where to market to. You've got to know who is going to buy what you are selling. And I'm talking about this as if it were a widget just because it's easier. But who's buying your widget? Who's buying your product? Where is the need? What need are you satisfying? Where is that located? And that's where you want to market. Then you've got to look at, in the marketing piece, since you specifically talked about marketing, you've got to look at how do you market to that particular segment that's interested in your product. Are they big social media fans? Is it business to business or is it business to consumer? Because those are two different marketing strategies. So you need to know how they get their information. The next thing in marketing is marketing changes a lot. Okay, so the way you marketed it 10 years ago is different than the way you do it today. So you need to keep up on the latest marketing trends and on the latest marketing trends in your industry. Because you know that you would market a floral shop much differently than you would market an automobile. So that is what you need to do. Now, marketing can be pricey, can be incredibly expensive. So you need to also, as a new business, as a beginning business, look into ways where you can get marketing that doesn't cost that much. So you may want to explore guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing is a good idea, even if you have a huge marketing budget. So you look at some guerrilla marketing ideas. Look at some what we call out-of-home marketing ideas, as opposed to just depending on one thing of marketing. Like social media is great, but social media alone won't do it for you. So you're going to have several lines of marketing. Now, on the finance end, a lot of people like to jump into business without having enough capital. You need to research that idea to make certain that you have enough capital. There are a lot of resources in every city and every state that can help you with that. You've got SCORE, which is a part of SBA, which is a Small Business Administration, that will help you with a business plan, that will help you with your marketing plan, your finance plan. They will help you think about your customers, help you think about the best ways to market. And they're by appointments only, and they don't charge anything for their services. So I would suggest that you start there. Also, if there's some business classes in a junior college or a community college, you need to take those because everyone needs to understand their financial statements, the difference between a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement. You need to understand that. And the basics, the difference between assets and liabilities, those are incredibly important for you. Now, and while we're on the business arm, in the business world, all of the things that you do in a business to make a business successful can be done in your personal life to make your personal life successful. So we talked about goal setting. You want to set goals for your personal life as well as for your business. You want to, as a matter of fact, you want to visualize and use your imagination in your personal life as well as in your business. One thing that you want to do also, as we were talking about this earlier today, is you want the financial plan to be such that you know how much money you're going to spend, both in your personal life and in your professional life, in your business life. So, and if you have a business, you want to be careful not to commingle the funds with your personal life, because that gets really complicated. But in both cases, you need a plan for your income. If you don't have a plan, then you will be planning to be broke, and we don't want you to be broke. Most of the businesses, 80% of all startup businesses go out of business within 5 years because they're poorly capitalized, or they have poor marketing strategies or even product strategies. And you want to be sure that you are not one of those. Yeah. But no matter what happens, you can always hit a reset button and you can start over and change your life. Now, there are a lot of books written lately on things that you can do to change your subconscious, because sometimes affirmations won't do it. Sometimes just positive thinking, a woo-saw won't do it. I suggest meditation twice a day. A lot of people don't meditate. Our world is so busy and our minds are so busy, and we say, oh, I can't quiet my thoughts. There's no way I can. And the object is not necessarily to quiet your thoughts. The object is just to be still with yourself, to be still with your thoughts, so that you know what you're thinking. And what you do is, as you calm yourself, after a while, you will notice that you don't have as many thoughts, and that you'll get to the point where you have very few thoughts. So in the beginning of meditation, expect a lot of mind chatter. As it comes up, thank it and dismiss it, and then go back to the quiet space. And you'll find that you will probably have to do that several times. I want to remind you, this is a call-in show, area code 312-738-1845. And as I have you breathing and thinking about meditation, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay put.
Now the trees sang this song to me. He said the birds sang it to the breeze. Just in case I was feeling down and didn't really want to be around. He said the breeze sometimes come with rain, but nothing in life stays the same. Tomorrow.
This is my family. That's my mom and dad. And my brother. And that's me, future Hall of Famer. That's Grandpa. He's my best friend. Grandpa's got diabetes, but he's got it under control.
I keep my blood sugar close to normal. That means I watch what I eat and walk every day. I always take my medicine and test my blood sugar because I want to be around to see the next Jackie Robinson.
Control your diabetes for life. Call 1-800-438-5383.
What's wrong with this picture? Half of young Americans can't locate economic powers like Japan and India. 20% can't even find the Pacific Ocean. Without geography, our children aren't ready for the world. Geography is everywhere. It's incredible creatures, rhythm, fashion, flavor. It's economics and politics. It's change. Understanding connections between people and places is critical in the 21st century. That's why we created mywonderfulworld.org. Go there now for your free parent and teacher action kits and give our kids the power of global knowledge. Because kids who understand our world today can succeed in it tomorrow.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. My baby's so worried. My grandbaby's so tiny. No one knows why she was born premature. Or if she'll be okay. All we can do is wait for the answers.
There was a message in his melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way. Tomorrow's gonna...
Greetings and welcome back to A Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor. This is a call-in show, and the number is 312-738-1845. While we were on break, I was handed 5 or 6 questions. We'll try to get through these questions. Hopefully by the end of the show. If not, we'll post the answers online so that the person asking the questions can see their answers. The first question is, once you decide what you want to do, what are some important things that you should do to get started? First off, you've got to make a plan. You have got to list all the things that you think you need to do in order to make this work. You've got some ideas, so you say, I want to start a clothing store, and these are the things I need. Then I want you to research that idea until you think you can't read another thing about that idea. I want you to know that business inside and out. I want you to know everything that you could possibly know about that business. Where is it manufactured? How do you buy it? Do you need credit? Do you need cash? What colors does it come in? Who buys it? Who doesn't buy it? How much of it they buy? Who's your competitors? Who is in that business right now? Who's doing well? And who's in that business and not doing well? A lot of that information may be available online, but you may have to get up and go to the library and read some different books. Also, I want you to start to see yourself in that business, successfully in that business. Just doing whatever you're doing, selling whatever you sell, creating whatever it is you're going to create. I want to see yourself as being successful. Then, after you've got this idea formulated, I want you to contact some of the experts. We mentioned SCORE earlier, and have them help you put your idea down on paper. They will ask different questions that you didn't even think about, because these are all retired executives, so they know some different things, and they will help you think about everything else that you need to think about for that business. Then you will put together what I call a tactical implementation plan, a plan that gets you started. What's number 1? What's number 2? And as you do that, you will get more and more information. Don't get too nervous if your goals and plans change, because that's the idea, to tighten up the idea so that it can be successful. The next question is it important to bring your friends in with you for business? Now, I would say no. See, that idea was your idea. God whispered it to you. And unless you and your friend have the same passion, the same idea, and have the right skills for the business, you should not bring them with you. But that's a decision you'll have to make. There are a lot of successful partnerships that started with friends. And that was because they had that same passion for the same thing. They wanted to accomplish something together, and their actual talents complemented each other. So you have got to have good synergy. Don't bring them along just because they're a friend. Don't bring them along just because they're a family member. Bring them along because they have value or add value to the business. How do you arrive at the startup funds? How do you get the money you need for startup? I paraphrased the question. Everybody thinks that they need money to start their business. Now, there is a point to where you will need money in your business, but that's generally not at the beginning of your business. We've talked about a lot of things you need before you're actually going to need money. The idea, you're going to need the idea. You're going to need a plan, which you can get help with creating the plan without money. You can go to SCORE, or you can even go online and get some ideas. You're going to need to research the product. That doesn't cost money. You're going to need to research your marketing channels or your product supply channels. That doesn't cost money. So there are a lot of things you need before you need money. Do those things first. And as you do those things, then you will understand where the channels are for the startup capital that you need. However, your credit score is incredibly important. So if you've got credit issues, you need to take care of those credit issues. If you have some outstanding debt, because a lot of times lenders won't lend if you've got a lot of outstanding debt, you need to get a plan to take care of that first. And how do you begin to face your fears? That's not the last question, but that's a very important question. There is a quote that I love, and it says, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. See, the secret is the project has to be great. The idea has got to be so big in your mind that the palms of your hands sweat. And when you allow yourself to be swept away by that, you will stay focused on the project. Take it one step at a time. We only tend to become afraid when we're looking way down there at the end. But take it one step at a time, one project at a time, one action at a time. And when you do that, you will not be overcome by fear. Stay focused on what it is you are to do in that moment, and not what you can't accomplish in that moment. For it's going to take you more than one action in order to accomplish your dreams. You see, when you become fearful, it's because you are now beginning to doubt whether or not you can do it. You can do it, for it was made for you. Will it be easy? Nah, probably not. But if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But as I told my son once, I want you to remember that it is not lonely at the top. It is crowded at the bottom. So the fear is change, and change is going to happen anyway. So embrace that fear. Talk to that fear. Make that fear your friend, and tell that fear that it's going to go with you anyway. How important is marketing and branding? We talked about that before. Marketing and branding go hand in hand. People have to be able to recognize your product. It's like if you put Coke, you recognize Coke wherever you go, you recognize McDonald's wherever you go. So just know that your marketing and your branding has to be in line with that. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. I want to thank the many callers who called in for this session of Tools for Success. I want to thank you all at home who are taking notes, and I want to thank you all that I know who are hitting up my email now with other questions that I will answer for you later. I want you to know that in this moment, you have all that you need in order to be successful. See, the ideas come to you, and the methods to accomplish those ideas are here too. I just want you to be open. Understand that there are at least 7 different solutions for every problem that you can face. And as you go through this life, remember that you came here to create, and you're creating every minute of the day. Just be sure that what you're creating is wonderful. Ask yourself right now, today, did I do something wonderful for me? Did I do something wonderful for someone else? Today, what wowed me? And if nothing wowed you today, make it your business to find something that wowed you today. You are the answer to your prayers. You are the dreams. So I want you to go forth today and remember that life is too short to drink cheap champagne, to dream big. And I want you to capture within your soul that big, exciting moment, that great idea, that great force that's been bubbling up. I want you to embrace it, take hold of it, and I want you to ride it to the end. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. This is a sip of inspiration, and you can tap into our website anytime you like to get in touch with me. Bye now. Have a great life.
A bird sang this song to me. There was a message in its melody. Sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way. Tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be. Now the trees sang a song to me. He said the birds sang it to the breeze. Just in case I was feeling down and didn't really want to be around. He said the breeze sometimes comes with rain, but nothing in life stays the same. Tomorrow's gonna bring a change. The message remains the same. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be. Now if I'm a part of everything, there's a message I was sent to bring from life's university of the birds, trees, and the breeze. Just wait till tomorrow comes. Live your life and hold on. Take a step to another day, 'cause living is the only way. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be it's gonna be alright. Yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. Alright. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm here to tell you everything. Alright. Everything is gonna be alright.
Living is to have an exciting or fulfilling life. Are you living or just existing? If your success needs guidance or your life needs a jumpstart, Stephanie Wilson-Coleman is the answer for you. Stephanie, a victim of abuse and poverty, discovered how to rise above her adversity and has helped others overcome life's toughest obstacles. So don't look for the quick fix when you need the right fix. Visit champagneconnection.com and experience Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. Here, you can schedule Stephanie to speak at your next event, purchase her books, DVDs, or contact her for coaching. When life is asking for success, and success is asking for life, ask for Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. She has your back. Stephanie is motivated not to give up on you.
Listen to the words of the song. Everything